Hi and welcome to episode 66 of the Arya Bark Podcast. My name's Caroline and I'm coming to you today from my home in Fife in Scotland. If you're a new viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. It's great to have you here. How have you been? Hope you're well. Things have been mixed. We'll go for mixed. As you can see, there will be a finished object spoken about later. Absolutely love it. You can find detailed show notes on the Arya Bark website, which is aryabark.co.uk. You can find me on Ravelry as either Arya Bark or my personal account, which is Saltra. We have a Ravelry group, which is the Arya Bark Podcast. We do have a private group on the website for anyone who would like to take part in make-alongs and chatter and other stuff but is unable to use Ravelry. You can find that by going to the community tab, then groups. We'll ask you a few questions, make sure that you're a crafter, and then we will send you an email to let you know that you're able to log in. We have an Instagram page, which is Arya Bark Designs. We have a Facebook page, which is Arya Bark Designs, and we have a Ko-fi page, which is Arya Bark Designs. We are currently running 2 make-alongs at the moment. The first one is the hashtag ABD StashSmash 2022. It starts on the 1st of January and ends on the 31st of December. You must be a member of either the Ravelry or the private group in order for your entry to count. Prizes will be drawn quarterly. There is physical prizes for the FO thread. The winner is chosen by random number generator. Mr. Bark and Andrew will choose entries from the chatter thread and the winners will receive a pattern of their choice up to the value of £10. Whips are allowed and multiple dipping is encouraged. As long as it can be measured in metres, then it can be entered. So spinning, crochet, Tunisian crochet, knitting and weaving, machine knitting and loom knitting. Goals are at your own discretion. You can increase and decrease whenever you like, or not choose any at all. It's entirely your choice. And each person entering will have one FO thread post that all projects will be logged in. Our next make-along is the hashtag Yappy and Scrappy Blanket Make-along 2022. Again, this starts on the 1st of January and ends on the 31st of December. You must be a member of either the Ravelry or the private group in order for your entry to count. Prizes will be drawn quarterly. There is physical prizes for the FO thread. The winner is chosen by random number generator. Mr. Bark and Andrew will choose entries from the chatter thread and the winners will receive a pattern of their choice up to the value of £10. Whips are allowed and multiple dipping is encouraged. The only rule for the blanket make-along is that your blankets must be a minimum of 16 inches by 16 inches to qualify. There's no maximum blanket size, that's entirely the crafter's choice. Make sure that when you're putting your entries into the FO thread that you also place them into the chatter threads to double your chances of winning a prize, and so I can make comments about how wonderful they are and more than likely thanks, I'm going to add that to my queue. Also, when you're using the hashtags, make sure that you're using the correct ones. They can be found on Ravelry, on either the Ravelry threads or the group threads, and they're also in the description box below and up above while they're being discussed. I will eventually stick in a bit of footage because I have drawn the 200 subscriber winner. I will stick a picture in of the main prizes. I would bring them out, but in here smells like burnt houses. We have not had a fire. More than one of my neighbours are burning wood and it is absolutely stinking in here. I want your yarn to smell exactly how Alex and Danny send it out, so it will not be coming out of that packet until we have dissipated the burnt smell. So stick the spinner in. And our winner is Sylvia. I'm so happy. where I would like everybody to win a prize, I was very, very, very happy when it came up with Sylvia. So Sylvia, thank you very much for entering. Thank you so much for all your support. I genuinely love our chats on a Sunday or a Monday, whenever the video goes up. If you can contact me either on Ravelry, I will leave the email down below, or you can direct message me on Instagram with your address. I will get your package out to you ASAP. Obviously, if you would like to continue to keep subscribing, that'd be ace. Share with your friends, because we are trying to grow the channel. I have been assured, well, I was assured that Andrew would be here this week. He has not been subject to some sort of mysterious industrial accident where he's turned invisible. He is not here. We are going to try out during the week doing it on Zoom. This week we have going out, StashSmash, Naughty Corner and Whips. In this week's podcast there is just knitting, and timestamps for each section can be found in the description box below. As you can see, I have finished my summer t-shirt by Vera Sanon. I love this top so much. Won't lie, love it. As you can see, my lace panel has opened up slightly. Now, I finished this on Wednesday and had it line out blocking, and went to bed and got up to find that one of the cats has very kindly used my top to sharpen their claws. Not amused. The goal for last week was to have it finished. Obviously, I'm wearing it, it's finished, and there is not a woven end in sight. I even woven the end. Where was the end? Over there. Even woven the end, so there is no ends woven in. It is properly finished. It has been washed. I have worn it today. It is lovely. Modifications, I did make the sleeves slightly longer. I think the sleeves should stop a bit here. I put an extra inch on the sleeve and it sits perfect. And I also added a few extra inches onto the body. Now see if I can stand up. Put a few extra inches on the body, and I love it. I made a size 6, which is a large, or a 44-inch bust. The yarn that I used, do I have the bag sitting? No, I don't. Yarn that I used was Drops Cotton Merino in shade 21, which is Heather. Now, I have had a look. I don't think this colour is available any longer. I have not been able to find it anywhere. This is the sum total of the 12 balls that I had. This is what I've got left. And I used 400.1 grams, or, alright, 8, 10. Don't know. Might not have been 12, might have only been 10. I used 400.1 grams, or 883.3 meters. I used a 3.75mm higher sharp on a 40-inch cord, and I used a 3.5, I'm sure. Leave a bit up there if I'm wrong. A 3.5 for the neck ribbon, and the bottom ribbon, and it was a 3.75 for the whole of the sleeve, and I think he went down to I'll leave details up there because I can't remember what he done that in. And I am thoroughly impressed with this top. I will definitely be making more of these. I love it. Is there anything else? The Drops Cotton Merino is a 50% cotton, 50% merino wool. You get 110 metres and 50 grams. And the summer t-shirt is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. I'm not sure there's anywhere else that you can purchase the pattern, but if there is, there'll be links down below. And yeah, I love it. This is my only finished project this week. Other projects did not go well, but we'll discuss that soon. As you're aware, my goal this year is to craft 26,000 metres. At the beginning of the week I had crafted 10,596.16 metres. The summer t-shirt has added on another 883.3 metres, which brings my total this week up to 11,479.3 metres. I have not brought anything in this week, which means that my total incoming for this year remains at 14,291.16 metres, and to target I have 14,520.7 metres, which is seeming a little more attainable. So far this year I have crocheted 174.4 metres, 174.04 metres. I have knit 11,305.43 metres. I've not spun anything and I've not woven anything. As you know, I am taking part in the Ravelry Project Challenge. My challenge is to craft 30 projects in 2022. The summer t-shirt brings my total number of projects this year to 15 projects, so I have finally hit 50%. Didn't actually think I was going to make it there for a while. I still have another 15 projects to finish. I have 28. I think it's 28 active whips. If I can get some of them finished, I will definitely have that goal ticked off. I am reasonably happy with how I'm crafting this year. 14,000 is still 14,500 is still a lot, but I am just going to keep plodding on and hopefully I can get it done by the end of the year. We do have a naughty corner this week. Myself and the Jelly Rolls had a bit of a falling out. These are the Jelly Rolls by Mara Catherine Bryner. Again, I will leave details down below and in the show notes. The goal was to get the arch ribbon done and get them finished. Well, that didn't go down too well. The working alternate days is still working, however, because I was so close to getting this completed, this carried over to the next day. So obviously once I'd finished, I thought, right, I'm going to start doing my Jelly Rolls. It's going to be great. It was not great. At that point, I think I'd been working them 2 at a time, and it was just horrendous. I then decided that I was going to put them on 9-inch circulars and try it that way. That was even worse. Now, I have mentioned before I have hypermobility in all my joints. My right thumb hurt that badly I genuinely thought it was about to fall off. My index and my middle finger, all 3 of the joints on that finger felt really, really, really unstable. Now, I know I've had enough subluxed joints to know how far my joints can go before it completely pops out of place. I did not fancy going to A&E and trying to explain why I continued to knit, knowing that this was not working for my joints. So I decided to rip it out and didn't take a picture. However, the lovely Nancy from Kitty Scrapper Podcast, details are down below, and the lovely Mandy from Mouse's Makes both witnessed the fact that there was a good half an inch of this ribbon in this sock. Now, it was only one sock, the other one had about 3-4 rows, and there may be a picture of that you can't see, but I will stick it in here. The lovely ladies did say that they will clarify that there was definitely arch ribbon put in these socks. Now, Nancy agreed that she didn't like working that particular ribbon either, so she had decreased 4 stitches and then carried on with the rest of the sock. I was like, oh, I think I'll try that. Now, I can't remember how it came about that I decided to, the portion of the foot where your arch is, what I'm going to do is I've gone down to a 2mm needle to bring the stitches in a wee bit. I have a very wide ball in my foot, and I'm slightly concerned that dropping my stitch count down to 60 stitches means that it's going to be a bit too tight around my foot. So the first attempt, I will be making more of these because I do enjoy it. I think I've got 2 other versions in mind. One, the next pair I'm going to drop down to the 60 stitches and see how they fit. The second one, I may continental knit a ribbon round the foot. So rather than slitting the stitches, what I'll do is I'll just knit and purl the stitches and hopefully it'll cinch it in. And that's what, do the 60 stitches, do the ribbon, knit and purl, and the other option that I was going to do, what was the other one? Do the ribbon, but do that section in a 2mm needle. So that was my plan. The other 2 were going to be done on the normal, I think it was a 2.25. Yeah, 2.25. The goal for this week was to get past the heel on the first sock. Is that right? Because I thought I'd already got past the heel. I may not have changed that. No, it wasn't, because it was to get it finished. Obviously it's not finished. It is in the naughty corner at the moment. I will work on it as and when. I'm not going to go through the yarns. Obviously I will leave details of the yarns in the show notes, and I will link them down below. So that's those done. The Jelly Rolls are a paid for pattern on Ravelry. I haven't been able to find them anywhere else, so I think it's only available on Ravelry. I will work on them once I've finished another project, because that is now a priority. I am going to apologise now because I don't feel particularly well. I think once this is finished, I may possibly need to go for a COVID test, because I had a very, very sore head earlier on, and right now my throat feels like I've swallowed glass. So if this starts speeding up, you will know why. So my first project is a new cast on, and the story goes, last weekend I had gone to pick up a couple of bits, and I walked into a shop and there was a big card display, Father's Day the 19th of June, and I was like, oops, I had not. Normally I'm quite good at pre-planning stuff, and I was like, I do not, he hasn't mentioned anything that he wants. I don't think there is anything particular that he needs, because normally he's quite good at saying, oh, I've got my eye on whatever. So he hadn't. So I had a look in the shop, could not find anything at all. I was away to see what I had got him, not on a podcast that he watches. I picked up something, a small thing. However, as you're aware, Mr. Bark is not only financially supports the podcast, he also does the pictures, he helps out with a lot of stuff. As far as the website is concerned, if it wasn't for Mr. Bark, that would be, the thing wouldn't function. I have a really nasty habit of breaking stuff. Plus he's also good at going, are you aware that that picture doesn't match what you've spoken about? Thank you, Ryan. I have decided, and it doesn't matter because things happened and he eventually found out I was making socks. These are, now I'm really hoping that this is going to show up. Is it? Oh, it is, a wee bit. This is Business Casual by Tanis Lavallee, who is Tanis Fibre Arts. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. There, that's better. It has a cable design all the way down the sock. It's sort of like an argyle design down the leg, done in cables. I have decided that I do not have a cable needle small enough to cable that pattern on, so I'm using the book. I can't remember what the book's called. Is it Learning Something New About Cables? It's Learning Something About Cables. I'll stick a picture in what this book's called. I love that book. I am able to cable without a cable needle by jiggery pokey and magic. So this is how much I have done. I have done 2 repeats on the first sock, and sock number 1 may possibly need ripped back. Yes, sock number 1 does need ripped back. I'm not 100% sure whether sock 1 needs ripped back or not. I may need to sit and go through it. So there's sock number 1. Sock number 2. I am using Lang Yarns Super Socks. It's the cashmere colour, 4-ply. It is, can you see that? Nope. Just every bit is unfocused. Does that work? Possibly. It's a 65% virgin wool, 25% nylon and 10% cashmere. I purchased this, was it last year? No, it wasn't. This was purchased either in 2019. I purchased this either the summer of 2018 or the beginning of 2019. It was purchased to make socks for the lovely Mr. Bark. As you can tell, it's now 2022 and he's still not got them. That's better. Are you able to see that any better? Yes, you are. I decided that it was high time that Mr. Bark got his cashmere socks for all his hard work So this is what it looks like just now. It is, if you have an opportunity to buy the super socks with the cashmere in it. Now, what was the other one that would knit like butter? It was the My Yarny Corner high twist sock was like knitting with butter. This is so soft. Due to a little misplacement of where Mr. Bark was in relation to me discussing the socks on Zoom, Mr. Bark eventually found out that I was making him socks. So we have had a discussion about the length of his sock, because Ryan likes tights. Ryan doesn't like socks, Ryan likes, and let's rephrase that, Ryan likes knee-length socks. No one needs 10 inches of a sock ever. Now, he has a size 9 foot, which I've knit socks, a lot of the socks that I have knit, Ryan has got. So I'm not, the size of his foot doesn't bother me. However, for me, it's the length he wants the leg. He would like an 8-inch leg with a 2-inch rib. What he got was, I think it was 15 rounds, and he can lump it, and he can get that to, I think it's 7. I'm sure it's 7 inches, because he did pick a pair of socks that he really likes the length on. So it's 7 and he's inch, which gives him 8. It'll do. So I'm just going to keep working on this. These will be a UK size 9 or a European size 43 or a US size 10. I am using a 2.5mm higher sharp 9-inch circular. There are 2 lines in the pattern where they cross over. So one will cross over at the top, the other one will cross over underneath. No, on the top. Which is fine if you're working it down the foot, because you don't have to worry about them crossing over. However, you start off cuff down, which means I do have to move stitches, and on sock number 1 I got myself thoroughly confused, so I may have to rip that back to a point where it's correct and then jiggle it about. Business Casual is a paid for, no it's not, it's a free pattern on Ravelry. My goal for next week is to get 4 pattern repeats done. Now that will bring me up to 6. These are pretty quick. This I did in about an hour on Zoom. The only part where I do really need to concentrate is where the 2, actually it's not, the only time I need to concentrate is on the last line of the repeat, because that's where you have to move stitches about. But other than that, it's fairly intuitive to knit on, and it's like butter. So I may need to go back to Moroz and see if I can get more of this. So that is my first whip. My next whip is my favourite. I'm not going to lie, the next 2 I thoroughly enjoy working on. In my Bambi bag, so you know which one's coming next, is my Papillon, which is French for butterfly apparently. As you can see, I have put on 5 inches. This is where I was last week. I have indeed put on an extra 5 inches. There we go, that works. So this is where I was last week. I have completed another pattern repeat. I am exceptionally close I think, to finishing off another pattern repeat. Yeah, and I've got another couple of rows to go before I start another pattern repeat. This is, wait a minute to get myself detangled. This is Papillon by Svetlana Volkova. This is going to be my first entry, well, possibly first entry, depends which one gets finished first. But this is going to be an entry into the Mouses Makes hashtag knitting with Ukraine. I will link that down below. Go give some love to Ukrainian designers. They're awesome. There is not one that I haven't met yet whose designs are stunning. This is a paid for pattern on Ravelry and a complete joy to work on. This is my knitting happy place. Now, obviously I asked a question last week, if there was one project that you could work on forevermore, what would it be? I genuinely think it may possibly be Papillon for me, or the Summer Tea, or the Fairy Tale Socks, because they're really enjoyable. Any one of those, I would quite happily be stranded on a desert island, shoot a yarn filled desert island. It would have that, and would need to have yarn, but I would happily knit one of these forevermore. I am using Stenley yarns in Katrina. It is 100% acrylic. You get, we went to find the bit where it tells you what you get. There it is. It is 100% acrylic. You get 1,200 meters and 200 grams. I am now on ball number 2. I have just, yeah, they're the decreases. So I had to clarify what I was doing. These are the waist decreases. I have decided, because I forgot to do that part, and I forgot to say what size it was. Still haven't written. Oh, I have. Have I? No, I've not. Modifications, I have decided to do A-line shaping. I love the way this fits at my hips. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I've got enough yarn there to do the A-line shaping, and there's enough left over that I could add quite a bit on without, oh, what a complete and utter muppet. I've just took the increase marker out of my waist shaping. Well done. Sorry, I took the marker at the waist shaping. I have decided to do the A-line shaping. I'm going to leave a picture in because I did manage to take a picture during the week. I don't know how often I'm going to be able to get pictures because putting that on a 60-inch cord was horrendous. It was a bit of a fiddle. I'm hoping that for next week I will get the A-line shaping finished, and then at that point it's going to be a lot easier taking pictures of the sleeves and stuff. It's a wee bit squint at the moment because the wear are finished off. I am using a 3.5mm Drops Pro Classic on a 40-inch cord, and a 3.5 and a 4mm. Obviously the 3.5 is for the ribbon and the 4 is for the main body. I'm just going to keep carrying on working on it, and hopefully by next week I will have the A-line shaping finished. My final project in my lovely bee bag by My Yarny Corner. My Yarny Corner is available on Etsy. They have a lovely shop on Etsy where they sell yarn and bags and badges, and Alex has purchased a cricket machine, and she's making lovely tote bags, and they're awesome. Go purchase. My Yarny Corner is also on YouTube. Go watch Alex's podcast. She's lovely. All the support. These are my fairy tale socks by Vicky Moroz. I love this pattern so much. I am in a very big tangle. That does not help. Right, where was I? Where was I last week? For goodness sake, you'd think I'd never podcast before. There are some children who I would really like to rip their voice box out, and my neighbour's child is one of them. Who needs to scream at this time at night? Right, so this was where I was last week. I was to finish off the third repeat, do the fourth one. I have done that. Have I put 5 repeats in this? 1, 2, 3, 4. I did not mark the 4th repeat. What a numpty. Isn't it a good job I've got spare stitch markers? Yes, there's 4 repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. And to put one on the other side as well. Right. These are the Fairy Tale Socks by Vicky Moroz. The goal for last week was to get past the heel. I am indeed past the heel. Integrated heel by Ailbíona McLochlainn. Love that heel. One of the socks are wonky. I can't remember which one of the socks. I got a little bit confused when I was doing the numbers. Because Ailbíona gives you certain numbers, and obviously I had to guess because my numbers were in between 2 sizes. And once I'd done the heel turn, is it that one? There's one of the heels that aren't quite right. No, it was this heel, sorry. It was this heel. That's not correct. I may or may not have had to fudge it. But it doesn't matter, I can make them again, it's fine. But I may have decreased slightly too quickly. And by decreased slightly too quickly, I got slightly confused because one side of my sock was the wrong count for the other one. And then once I'd finished, I forgot that I decreased too quickly and there was a whole disaster. I had to rip it back and it wasn't fun. Sock number 2 went a whole lot better. I will say that. Sock number 2 did go a whole lot better because I figured out what I was supposed to do. And yes, so these are a free pattern on Ravelry. Again, these are another entry into Monday from Mouses Makes. Hashtag knitting with Ukraine. Love it. Love the yarn. Seriously, this yarn makes these socks so pretty. I am doing a size 5 or a European size. I was wrong last week. It's a European size 38.5 and a US size 7.5. I am using my Yarny Corner in shade Shine Bright, which is 100 grams or 400 meters. It is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It is stunning. Not going to lie, it is stunning. I have decided that the only yarn that shall ever be placed in this bag is from my Yarny Corner, because even the bag smells like the yarn. It is awesome. Sylvia, you will get to know what I mean. I am using a 2.5mm higher sharp on a 40-inch cord. Again, my goal is to have these finished for next week. It may seem slightly adventurous, but they are fairly quick. I only have one garment on the go at the moment, So I think the plan will be is to have, no, that'll be about right. What I'll do is I'll alternate the socks every day. I'll continue doing that, and because I've still got the 2 pairs of socks. Is that right? I am now thoroughly confused about what I have on the needle. I have, yeah, I've got 3 active whips. So I've got the business casuals and the fairy tale socks. I'll alternate them every day. The Papillon, and again, how many weeks do I have to say the same thing before it eventually kicks in what the pattern's called? I will do Papillon every night until I get the body finished. I think there is quite a lot of body left to go. I've got 6. Right, there is 8 increases on this, which might actually be slightly more than what the pattern asked you to do. However, I love how it fits, so I'm not going to argue. I'm going to do the 8 increases while keeping the pattern correct down the front. It should be, the body should get finished. I'm not going to say that the whole thing will get finished for next week, because I've not quite decided how long I'm wanting the arms yet. So that is all of my projects that I'm working on this week. Jelly rolls can stay on the naughty corner at present until I get something else finished, and then I can bring them back in. So what is ahead for this week? I will need to do a COVID test. I think what I'll do is I'll do one tomorrow. I'll need to check the paperwork for the hospital, because I don't know if they're asking you to do a COVID test or whether they do a COVID test on you. But plan will be, I will do a COVID test either tonight or tomorrow, just to make sure. Or yeah, and then do one on Tuesday morning. I am not as horrified at having a camera stuck down my throat as I think I possibly should be. I am at the stage where I am starting to get twinges again, so I would rather not have to cancel that appointment and get it over and done with. Plus the fact I miss not having life insurance. Not amused. Is there anything else coming up this week? I don't think there is. I will eventually try and get a hold of Andrew at some point to do a mock podcast to see if it will work over Zoom. Whether it does or not, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what we're going to do for the show notes. But yeah, so that's it. Sylvia, if you can contact me either by email or Instagram would possibly be the better one, or Ravelry, any of those, get in contact with me. I will get your prize out to you as soon as possible. Yeah, if you would like to subscribe to the channel, please do so. We would be eternally grateful. Well, I would be eternally grateful. Andrew may possibly be grateful, but we don't know because he's not here. Natters are a Wednesday at 8 PM British Summer Time and Fridays at 11 AM British Summer Time. If you would like to participate in any of the Zooms, contact me on Instagram. I will add you to the group and you will receive room IDs and passcodes. Is there anything else? No. I have just realised I have not had my dinner. That may be why I'm feeling slightly ill. So, I hope you have a very, very crafty week, and I will see you back here again next week. Bye!